What's up, jobbers, and welcome to the latest edition of the Jobber Knocker podcast. As always, is Nestlemania alongside for the ride as a man. That's what happens when you have Biff Tannen bang a frog and fall down the stairs. You get JC.
Sup?
That line, I literally couldn't stop laughing when he was like, "That's what happens," and I was just like, Biff Tannen, a frog, and stairs. I was like, how we got there, I don't fucking know. I was going to introduce you as more inflated than Cora Jade, but I thought that didn't go as well as the...
Yeah, I mean, we talk about Deflategate a lot in the sports world, but there's been a lot of Inflategate going on in NXT. And you know what? I think a lot of people are very happy about it. Someone who, kicked through the sign and barks like a dog's probably real happy about it. So,
Jesus Christ.
He's a brawn breaking son of a bitch.
He's really the emphasis on brawn break her is what he's going to do, man. Yeah. Anyway, on that note, we have a lot to talk about here. We've got obviously one of the biggest wrestling shows ever created. Apparently, if you listen to Tony Khan, it's the biggest show in wrestling history, as All In is Sunday in Wembley Stadium. That's going to be huge. We'll talk about that in a little bit, especially doing our predictions, as well as everything else going on. But where do we always start, JC?
Always in the shine, much like Mandy Rose, who, by the way, we're local to New England. Apparently, she's coming out to Providence to do a little signing Nestlemania. So the locals are very excited about that. But we're going to kick it off here. I'm going to go over to SmackDown Nestlemania. And you know what? I hate doing this because, I don't know, but it's just one of those things. If this really was it for Edge, I feel like we have to start to shine with it because he's a Hall of Famer. He came back. He overcame a debilitating, career-threatening, likely career-ending injury. He came back, and he's had a fun little run. There's been some downs, but there's certainly been some ups. I thought him and Sheamus had a very good match on Friday. It was a good way to send him off if this was it. Who knows? I'll believe it when I see it. Anything can happen in the wrestling world, but I think it for once I'll be serious to kick off a show, and I will put Edge to kick off my shine. But I will say this. His former tag team partner, Christian, may have one-upped him on Saturday on the A show Collision, but that's neither here nor there. But either way, Edge and Christian, you both starting my shine this week, baby.
So it's interesting that you brought up that because my head went directly to Jim Ross when he went out of his way in commentary on Collision to talk about how he signed both Edge and Christian. And all I could think about was like, was that strategically placed? Was it just because it was timing? Either way, I think it was great that they did that because they lead into this idea of, maybe this is more of a possibility than it really, that we think it is. Because to me, I would say not a fucking chance in hell. But we all know that if I say something the exact opposite because fucking the planets align and always just strike me down anyway. So I would say I'm wrong about everything.
I think the CM Punk thing kind of changed it because they're like, there's no way. And I was like, holy shit, it's happening. And I mean, look at like Edge has done all he can do in WWE. He had a great run and he might truly just feel like he's done, but it's one of those things. If Christian calls him up and says, yo, man, they're serious about this. 3 pay-per-views, 3 fights. One, it's going to be me and you versus FTR, which is, that's FTR's dream match. Edge and Dax are very close with Cash and all them. They're all very close. We do that, and then there's like maybe 2 singles matches where he has one where he has to pick his opponent. I could see Edge doing it. I don't know if money's that big of a factor for Edge, but either way, he'd get paid. I do think that I'm assuming that his transition now, because he's been doing some work as a producer backstage, that maybe that's something he starts doing more of, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he just wanted to be with his family for the most part. So I'm not going to say never for any of that stuff. I think it's unlikely, but I'd put it at like a 30% chance that we could see Edge in AEW, and that would be fucking wild to see.
Well, the other thing that went through my brain was like, he's super smart. We know that Edge is very smart, regardless of how we feel about his promos. He's a very, very, very intelligent individual, especially when it comes to, you know, putting together matches and he's the Einstein of wrestling is what John Cena called him. However, I did want to bring this point up was this is the smartest thing I think ever is that he has a song that Tony Khan can pay for and iconically everybody loves it. And it'll be the same thing as, Cult of Personality. You hear that thing. It can be him saying, you think you know me. And then like, you know what I mean? It'll work. The only problem is they're going to call him Cliff. They're going to call him Border. Like, what are they going to call him? I don't know. It can't be Copeland, but it'll be interesting to see if that's
Edge Cage.
Yeah, exactly. Sharp, or something ridiculous.
Oh, more like dull when he talks. Am I right?
Oh. So before we get into like nonsense as usual, because this is already off the fucking rails, my thought was really quickly, because we are going to wrap this up in a nice little bow here, because the match was fine. It's a good way to send him off. Nothing bad about the match. But I will say he was there from 2019 to 2023, roughly around 3 years, a little bit more because of things going on. What do you take away from this, JC? What was your favorite thing that he did or favorite things he did? And what was the least favorite thing that you could have done without?
I mean, the return was just one of the most iconic returns you've ever seen. Like it's one of those things. There were three in recent memory. There were like three pops that if they pop up on my Twitter, I can't stop watching them. One's Cody at Mania, the other CM Punk, and the third one is Edge at the Rumble. Like those are like three like return pop moments that I'm just like I could watch all day because you get chills when it happens. So nothing obviously could top that. I think there were a lot of like bright spots in the Edge Randy Orton stuff because that obviously brought me back. Certainly, we had the greatest match of all time ever in WrestleMania history, even though they've done that like 8 times because like Lesnar and Reigns did it, and now it's happening at Wembley too. It just we get it. We get your superlatives, you fucking marks. But no, I mean the low points obviously like just with Edge, like he just some of those promos, man. There was a point I remember where you've always kind of get fatigued with them, but there was one point I was so fatigued. He was doing these backstage promos and he would like do them and they would be like 15 straight minutes of him just talking into the camera. And I was just like, which there's something else that I did that to this week that we'll get to in the heat. But yeah, I mean, that's probably my big 3 to answer your question.
Sorry, I have to kill a spider while I'm talking to you. Sorry. So for me, the promos were always too fucking long. I can't deal with it. I did remember, like, I kind of enjoyed watching Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan and Edge, especially in that like that double crossface thing at WrestleMania where they're like, no, give up. You're such a pest, Daniel Bryan. You're not even supposed to be here. And like that stuff was always fine to me. I really like the Seth Rollins feud. I thought that was a really good little, like, if that to me was the reason he came back, that was worth him coming back to me. I don't care about the AJ Styles thing. I think that was a flop personally. Especially the judge. I mean, he's technically the reason the Judgment Day exists. So I guess we have to give him a feather in the cap for that.
It was better after they kicked him out though.
Right. Exactly. So it's like he did it, but did he really do it? Or he almost did him a disservice by sticking around, I guess. So, obviously and then the other things that we forget about were the Miz and then the Miz and Maurice versus Beth and Edge. I thought that was really cool too. So kudos to him because, he didn't need it. He had enough money. Yeah. His wife made money too. He didn't need to do it. He did it because he loved it. So when you love something that much, especially where we love it too, like it's hard to hate on the guy as a human being because he's probably like the nicest guy in the whole world. He'll always have a special place in my heart, but like, just stop talking and just wrestle. That's the way I
Are you
feel
telling me to shut up and wrestle, Adam?
I am telling people to shut up and wrestle. Yes. Now, granted, we talk for half an hour a piece or an hour, I guess, combined. So
if we shut up, what do we do? Because we ain't wrestling.
We could mime for an hour. Yeah. That'd be fun. Or sign language. That'd be really cool. Yeah, not so good on the ears, though. Yeah. So where else would you like to go on this natural journey?
Well, I mentioned Collision because I obviously brought up Christian and Darby beat him. I thought that was a great match. I mean, if any time you want to watch a fucking master storyteller, Christian's one of the elite, always has been. He's so good, especially the heel work's impeccable. But that wasn't my favorite thing from Collision. This was kind of hinted at last week, Nestlemania. And all I have to say is Powerhouse Hobbs versus Miro is why wrestling was fucking invented. 2 of the biggest, meatiest, most athletic beasts of men are going to be slapping each other's meat all over my TV. That did not come out right, but oh my God. Just like Miro, he obviously wasn't there because he had the pre-recorded promo, but said, he's like, I am no longer a godly man, but you are. And you pray to me now. I was like, yes, Machka. And then Hobbs like doing Miro's finish. It's just like legit. Like, this is why wrestling was invented. This is why I love wrestling. You get these two big motherfuckers who I absolutely love, and I get to watch them feud. Oh my God. When these two colossals meet in the middle of the ring, Big E and I are going to orgasm at the same time because there's going to be a lot of big, sweaty, meaty men slapping meat. So that's one of my biggest shines of the week.
When I saw that, I immediately thought of you and I went, what the fuck? Like, how did, like, so here's the other thing. Like, and again, I'm assuming you'll have an answer for this because, you know, you have an answer for everything, even if it's wrong. How do you book this match? To me, it's like, I mean, here's the thing. Miro feels like he's booked in a way that he can't lose. However, Hobbs needs it more, right?
Well, it's weird with Hobbs, right? Because Hobbs is literally his only loss this entire year was that Ricky Stark won in the tournament. Besides that, Hobbs has beaten everyone. He obviously cheated for some. He had a very short TNT championship reign and everything, but like that, so it's interesting. I feel like the point of this is to elevate Hobbs. And I think Miro's clearly not full time, as we've seen. He's on the part time thing. Him and Andrade, they're like, yeah, we'll come back part time. But I mean, I'm assuming this match will happen at All Out. This will make me care about it. I think it actually is happening at All Out. I think they booked it. This is literally instantly my favorite match on the card. I do feel like Hobbs probably cheats to win in some way, or maybe something happens where he's obviously had that thing with QTV where they're like on and off again. Maybe they actually betray him or something. I don't know. I feel like the first match will have a twist and we'll probably get a rematch, but I'm all for it. Multiple matches between these guys. Sign me up. Where do I sign?
I'm just surprised that it took you this long to say something about it, but we're only 12 minutes into the program.
I'm just being respectful to Edge, brah. Come on.
Brah? You're being respectful to Edge, brah. Okay,
brah?
Whatever. I don't even know how you spell brah. Is it B-A-R-A? I mean, I don't know.
You don't know how to spell a bra, just like you can't take one off.
Hey, I can take it off just fine. In the dark, one-handed behind the back. Absolutely. I'm magical at that, by the way. Not that you ever needed to know that, but you know, it is what it is. Jesus, I don't even know where I was going with this now. Shit. Anyway, let's see. I know you got me off my game. So going over to Raw, something that I thought was fantastic is specifically the idea of watching the Canadian crowd fuck with everybody. I thought Quebec did a fantastic job giving to Sammy and giving to KO these fucking nuclear pops. We need more places like Quebec City because I thought Monday was rocking in certain aspects of it. So I wanted to make sure that we gave a shout out to them because they made Sammy and KO feel like not just superstars, but amazing superstars. And they gave a lot of shit to Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch, which I'm sure we'll get to later.
Oh, we'll get there.
But I just think like the crowd to me is what sells a good time. Like you can definitely watch wrestling on mute, but when you can see the crowd having a good time, it's great. So
yeah, no, they brought it. I mean, we get that every now and then, but
he's back.
Kenny, we're gonna be in and out of it. I mean, you saw we just had a little there, but we probably won't get back to it till later, unless if Nestle has something he wants to shit on.
If you want to stick around for the whole hour and 12 minutes, at about an hour in, we'll probably talk about All In. If you want to put all your things in here, we'll read it to you or read to the rest of these to the rest of the listeners if you want. But Kenny Nestle is in the building or in the chat anyway, so
yeah, I just hope that he realizes now that Collision is the A show and Dynamite's the C show. They don't have a B show, but Rampage is there. But, you know.
Ring of Honor is the B show.
Yeah, you brought up KO returning. That obviously was awesome. I love this is a good point to bring him back. We had a lot of nonsense going on there with that stuff. Some good, some bad. So I don't know if you want to get to that later. But my biggest WWE shine of the week was actually on SmackDown, and that was the kickoff to SmackDown. We had the Grayson Waller effect, my favorite talk show on TV. I mean, this had it all. Because you know Grayson Waller. He's an asshole. So he's trying to drive that wedge between Ray and Santos. Neither of them taking the bait. Austin Theory comes out. He's all upset. But then you know what? Call out Adam Pearce, but Nestlemania, who came out next. Yeah. Know what happens when LA Knight comes out? Yeah. Good things happen, baby. I love the segment that all the moving parts. I was like looking around. I was like, oh my God. Because then obviously eventually the Miz came out, and we had all the nonsense, and Theory actually won the number one contendership back. But I realized that I was like, Nestlemania, LA Knight, the Miz, and Grayson Waller are all in the same place.
I know you probably wanted a moment to yourself and give
3 for 3, baby. Oh my god, if Cody was there, good night.
Yeah. You'd probably lose it. I still think the Miz and Grayson Waller as a tag team would probably blow your fucking mind. I don't mind Austin Theory getting the United States number one contendership, because I feel like we're doing the slow play with LA Knight and we're making everybody work for it, and that's okay. I like what they did on Raw too, to a certain extent. I thought, like watching Quebec City go nuclear for LA Knight was important too. And they did the exact same thing where, the Miz was, talking up a big game. You just got a big
nice cash at plus 165 underdog in the first fight of Dana White Contender Series tonight. Pajuelo, let's go. Sorry.
So if you didn't notice that JC is not really paying attention to what I'm talking about, it's just another Tuesday night.
I just saw my guy fucking hammer fisting, okay?
Hammer fisting. You saw your guy hammer fisting. Okay.
Hammer fisting the dude, man. That was a plus 165. I ended up double betting it because the price kept going up. So that's a big one.
Anyway, so on Monday Night Raw, The Miz took on somebody and lost, which was great. And then, of course, LA Knight had some great quibs on commentary. So I think we're going back and forth. I just don't know if we're going to wait till Payback. It feels like they're kind of...
I think Miz and LA Knight's at Payback. It makes... I mean, they both deserve a spot here. I think this feud deserves it. And that was like, to your earlier point about Theory winning, it makes sense because we're going to do Theory and Ray. Then I think Ray and Santos, like that's where the money is kind of with the US title. So I think LA Knight's kind of on a detour right now where he's just, this Miz thing is probably going to go on more than one match. I wouldn't be surprised if the Miz somehow won by hook or by crook, or maybe Bronson Reed shows up again randomly because we haven't seen him in a couple weeks. But I just feel like LA Knight's kind of on a detour before we get back there. And I'm okay with that because a feud with the Miz and LA Knight excites me a lot more than LA Knight winning the US title at this point. So.
That's fair. I was just curious because it's just difficult to really put it together on, like, you'd want to see LA Knight win, and I think the Miz is fine just taking L's because that's what he does. But
the Miz likes putting people over, man. He's the best at it as a heel.
I understand that, but it also feels like it would be great too if LA Knight would win and move on. However, it feels like with what they're doing with LA Knight, it means LA Knight's going to take a bunch of L's until he finally gets what he wants 6 months from now. So, we'll see how it rides out. I'm curious what else would like to talk about.
So this is just more of a note because we kind of have brought this up like the last month or so, and they've been doing this. This feud, I don't give a fuck about. This match, I don't give a fuck about. You buried it, especially last week, and I agree. And like the premise of the package was interesting, but this Nakamura package that they did on Raw was the best Nakamura has looked since he won the Rumble. Like, I started to believe it, like, okay, he's a threat. Okay, he's got that little edge. This is the Nakamura I've been waiting for, especially when they flipped him back to being a heel after they had just flipped him to being a babyface. I'm watching this and I was like, I'm into this package. And it's one of those things, and it kind of reminds me, because, I watch a lot of UFC and stuff, and I mean, half the fighters on the roster can't speak English because whether they're Brazilian and they speak Portuguese, or they're Spanish, or they're Russian. So like I get all these packages where they're trying to hype up these guys and make them monsters, but they have to do it with subtitles. And that's what this kind of reminded me of. And I'm watching, I'm like, man, like Nakamura, we know he can speak a little English, but it's one of those things. Sometimes with broken English, it isn't always intimidating. And you're trying to make Nakamura intimidating, especially with how he's treating Seth. And just watching this package and him like with the hunched over look and like the good lighting they had, and him just kind of like staring at the camera, and with the subtitles, it worked. And I was like, okay, this I can get behind. I'm not in on this feud in this match, but this was enough to be like, okay, more of this, and you might be able to pull me in a little more.
So I like the package. I thought it was good, but like I said to you last week and the week before, I don't give a flying fuck about this at all. You can't make me care about it. I appreciate the I know about your back, and now it brings that into question. And I said, okay, like as I'm watching it, okay, it makes me care. But this is, I thought about this as my hope, but I feel like this isn't really a hope, is more of just as a statement in general. With Roman Reigns gone, there's absolutely no reason for Seth Rollins not to main event these pay-per-views. There's absolutely no reason that you absolutely need to put the World Heavyweight Championship in the main event to start making this feel like a main event championship. Since he's won it 3 months ago, he has not main evented a pay-per-view, or premium live event is what you want to call it. You can tell me all the times it's on Monday Night Raw. That doesn't mean shit to me, but you got to start putting these titles, this particular title, in a moment like a pay-per-view, main event style, and maybe not this one, but going forward, these matches need to be in high profile, God knows steel cage matches, but maybe a ladder match, a TLC match, something extra to make it feel like it's a big deal, because they haven't done a good enough job helping Seth Rollins make that title. And Seth Rollins is doing everything he possibly can.
Do you think it main events?
If Cody's in the card, I don't know.
Yeah, it's I think it's gonna come down what they do with Judgment Day. Thankfully, they did the 6-man tag on Monday, so hopefully that means we
What does
don't.
that matter?
I
It's happened like 6 times.
No, but I know. But I was gonna think Cody, KO, and Sammy are gonna take on the Judgment Day, but I don't know. I think we'll probably get some mix of that. But I was thinking, I was like, this could be a spot for it to do it. But like, I even with the package, I'm like, I don't buy this as a main event. So I'm going to the woman. I'm like, Rhea Raquel. Like, I mean, I think that's a really good matchup, but that's not a main event. And then I'm thinking SmackDown. I'm like, I mean, if Charlotte and Bianca are involved again, maybe, but like the story isn't there. So I'm like, this is the chance for them. But it's just like, I watch Raw and I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, Cody in the Judgment Day is bigger than Seth in the world title. And Gunther in the IC title feel bigger than Seth in the world title. So it's just like, and I'm looking at Rhea, I'm like, she feels bigger than the world title, but like, she just doesn't really have the feuds until we finally got this one going now, hopefully. But I don't know. It's a weird thing because if this goes on last at Payback, does it hold your attention? I don't think so. So I don't think it main events.
I think the thing for me is it just doesn't feel like an automatic, like, oh, I'm enjoying this. It's like, okay, it's hard for me to enjoy a Nakamura match now. And I loved him. Like I told you, I absolutely adored him in Japan and NXT, but it's something about the way he wrestles now. It just feels like there's no emphasis on him being important. And so it's hard for me to realize he's a contender or care about it. It's just hard. And I think Seth Rollins can face anyone, and he makes it relevant and he makes it special. But now that Finn Balor's out of the equation, it's like I'm just waiting for Priest to cash in.
Yeah, no, that's what it comes down to, and that's how it could main event, because maybe Nakamura flips out after the match, beats him up, and Priest walks out as champion. Like that. That's probably why this is very likely to go on last, because you do have Damian Priest doing it. But again, it's just like the cash-in's main eventing more. Even if he doesn't cash in, the thought of a cash-in is main eventing more than Seth in the world title, which is still, like you said, that's the bigger problem. But do you have any other shine? Because I have another piece that I really like, but I'm pretty sure you didn't like it.
Well, let's let you do it, because I think that's a good teeter-totter into where we're going.
I brought it up. It's the Intercontinental Championship, Gable and Gunther. I love this match. And you know what, Nestlemania? We usually shit on countouts, but I thought this countout worked. And like, I saw one of your tweets, so I already know you're, but I actually like this booking, because we all knew fucking Gable wasn't winning the title of this. It's not close enough to Gunther breaking it. Whereas is Payback before or after? I'm not even sure.
Payback, I believe, is before the record.
Yeah, so that's the one where if you do it, they do it. So this always felt like, how are they going to do it? But also, how do they make me want to see another match? And whatever. It's not always the best thing, because why is Gable climbed in the wind to win the match? But obviously, it's like, you're not winning the title when that happens. But I didn't mind the way they did this. I thought, and you brought up the crowd earlier, this is my favorite crowd moments of the night, besides the Kane with Sammy stuff, with that they actually treated Gunther like a heel. Because a lot of the times when you get in front of these big crowds, they're going to cheer a guy like Gunther. I love that he was getting fucking booed, and everything he did, they fucking hated, because it just added to this even more. And it made it special, especially after the match when him and Ludwig and Gio are demanding that they still say that he's still the champion. But I do think it's a big deal, because Gunther doesn't take L's ever in any way, shape, or form. Gable has one over him now. Whatever. It wasn't by pin. He didn't win the title one, yeah, but it's a big fucking deal. And it sells you on the rematch of Gable continuing to show that he is worthy of Gunther. And you know what? Maybe the third time is the charm for him, where he actually gets it and he walks out with that IC title. And we're even closer to the date of Gunther breaking the record. Obviously, these two in the ring, mwah, chef's kiss. It doesn't get better than that, but I love the way they booked it this week. I love the way they set it up. We have a Ludwig Gable match next week, so I'm all boned up for that, man. So I'm loving everything going on with this. Maxine's still there. She's got a new swoosh outfit every week. I love this whole collection. I mean, just top tier stuff right there. But I'm all about this, and you can try to shit on it, and I'm just going to laugh in your face because you're a hater.
That's fine. That's fine. So I loved the lead up to the promo with Gunther. I love the backstage segment with them putting over Gable without him saying everything. The match itself was fine. The only thing that I really didn't enjoy, like I said, the rest of it is amazing. It's just the ending, in terms of like, I didn't mind it, but the fact that they're trying to sell it so much for me is the reason that it's heat for me. So get them off my TV in this particular instance. However, I agree that Gunther needs to be, is there a doubt? And it needed to be implanted. And we want Gable to win. We definitely want Gable to be the person to do it. He's overdue. He needs it. He does a great job. But for me, and this is something you probably never even watched, but Lex Luger, Yokozuna, SummerSlam, they fucking had him win by disqualification and the balloons fell and they played the fucking theme song and the whole thing. And it's like, we're celebrating a disqualification victory like that, to me, is a fucking cop-out. So for some reason, it just made me think of that moment and how I've soured on that moment as a kid. It made me go like, I just want fucking Gable to win, goddammit. Like, and I know they got me. They hooked me, obviously. So I'm going to be excited when it happens. But I just didn't like, wrestling is always like, the next week is always bigger than the last week. They always do that, right? It's the greatest thing you've ever seen.
It's like Triple H said, it's a never-ending TV show.
Right. And it's
there are no conclusions.
Right. It's the greatest thing you've ever seen this week, and next week's even better. Which it's a used car salesman technique, and I get that. But when they went out of their way to be like, holy shit, he lost, like, yes, he did lose, but you could have sent anybody out there and he would have lost by count out based on what was happening. So
I don't know. Not everyone can suplex Gunther over a fucking barricade like Gable.
No, I that's fair. That's fair. No, but I just don't. I never get excited about count out victories, and I never get excited about DQ victories. So for me, I just felt like, okay, it's just kick it down the can, kick it down the road, and then we'll see it at Backlash, Payback, and we'll get there. But again, he's breaking that fucking record because Triple H has a fucking chub for this, and he wants to fucking erase Honky Tonk Man. So it's happening one way or the other. And that's the other thing for me is, you don't get this close without breaking the record. He's breaking the fucking record. Anything after that, anything after day 454 or whatever it is, sure, anything's up for grabs. But he's a big W in my book till then.
You know what made last night even better and even more shine worthy for me? If they had fucking Alpha Academy balloons. God damn it. What a missed opportunity, Triple H. Oh, that would have been so good.
Well, when there's a Gable Express or a Gable, like clown car or something, they're going to fucking give him the poor guy.
Thank you. So right, we're in the heat, right?
Yes, we are in the heat.
Let's not waste any more time. We got to talk about Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. This segment was one of the worst segments I had ever watched in my life. It was fucking terrible. Trish fucking sucked, had no fucking control of anything. And Becky just stood there like a fucking idiotic lemon, I am so sick of this feud in general. This match is going to fucking suck because these two have no chemistry and it's inside a goddamn steel cage. Hell, Becky and Zoe next week will probably be good because you know what? Zoe Stark can fucking wrestle. I am so fucking done with these two. And it just like, it's a combination of how much Trish sucks in the ring, how just like boring this feud has gotten, how long it's taken to get here, and how it's just like, I am so over it. That fucking segment, Nestlemania, was so fucking bad. Both of these two should be embarrassed. Embarrassed. Get that shit. What is your line?
Get him off my TV. Get him off my TV. Get him off my TV.
That's how I feel. I'm done. Get this shit out of here. When we have to predict this match at Payback, I'm gonna predict fucking delete.
You know what bothered me, and I think I said this in the Jobber Knocker thread earlier today, is there was literally no reason to parade either of them out there. Nothing was added in that 10 minutes. It was just like, we're in Canada. Trish can make fun of Canada. Even the crowd said, we don't care in France.
He wasn't even good at making fun of Canada. She did a terrible job of making fun of it.
I think the problem is that people pump people's tires. They think, if Trish Stratus had just stayed away and just gone off into existence and done her own business and be a mom and do her own thing and just kind of remember what she was, that's intact. But for me, the fact that she came back showed me that she is not able to hang in this generation, and she's not as good as she thinks she is. And she may never have been as good as we thought she was, but it's hard to tell. And with Becky Lynch, yes, Becky Lynch is a generational talent. Becky Lynch is great in certain instances, but this is a glaring omission of what she can do because she can't save this. There's no way she can save it. And you want to talk about making lemons? This is as sour puss can be. And there is literally nobody that wants to watch her. Now, maybe she'll be unscathed after this because she just might be Teflon at this point.
The minute she interrupts Rhea Ripley, she's fine.
Right. And I think that's the issue is I think they know that they can get away with doing that with her. is they can put her in shit like this and she'll somehow make it work somehow down the line with something else. So for me, it's just Trish needs to get off my television. Becky Lynch needs to prove herself after this, because I feel like if she continues with a stinker after this, then I'm going to question her worth in terms of what the overvalue that they give this woman. Because to me, if you can't prove something after this, then you're overhyped.
You've been waiting for this for so long, because you say, oh, this will be the time that I get to do this. Like, you've been doing it to Becky her whole career, and I'm fine with it. Look at it. I love Becky, but I've always said I think she's a little overrated. That's not an insult. It's not an insult. Not an insult. Just so, you know.
Exaggeration is what wrestling is built on. That's 100%. All I will say. So,
and Nia Jax fucking made a star that night, baby.
She's not like most girls. That's all I gotta say. So, I do want to bring up something uber specific. It'll parlay into two separate things. I'll keep it very quick. First things first. They have Belair and Charlotte fucking beat the champion, although she didn't get pinned, her tag partner. And I just, every time I see that, I'm just like,
that's par for WWE.
Can't we just have Io fucking just win matches for a while? Like,
be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be nice, because she's the champion. Like, they already beat the tag champs like 2 weeks ago or whatever. That didn't fucking help. And then they did it this week with the fucking champion. Yes, she didn't take the loss technically, but it's just, it boggles my mind that they think that that's important to do. Like, it's not fucking necessary. And that bothers me to no fucking end. And here's the other thing. Super small. But again, it didn't need to be back to back. But watching backstage, having Bianca Belair get beaten up by those two, and they beat up her leg, and then they immediately cut to her husband in the ring, who looks up and goes, and then goes and wrestles, to me was the biggest fucking like continuity error I could fucking see. Like, if my wife got hurt, I wouldn't give a shit about what I was doing. I would go to my wife. But the fact that this guy was just like, yeah,
you're not
whatever.
A businessman now.
No, I understand. But it was so poorly thought.
They could have
spaced it out. Is what I'm just saying.
Fair.
And
it's a very muscle thing, but it's fair. It's one of your more fair ones you've ever made.
Continuity is important in wrestling. Goddamn, I don't care what anybody fucking says. It's fucking important. And they just piss on us and our intelligence, and they go, nobody's gonna fucking care. Well, I fucking do.
Your face.
I
fucking do.
I fucking do.
That was good.
Good rant. Now moving on. Anything else you don't like?
All of Dynamite, but we don't need to talk about it because
sorry, Kenny.
The show sucks.
Kenny will pop back in a moment.
It does. It sucks. It's like we talk about this literally every week. How is Collision and Dynamite the same brand? It's just like, it's not. Collision is fucking A tier. Dynamite is fucking poop tier. Like, literally, like it's like Tony Khan like opens his mouth and rainbows come out on Saturday, but on frickin' Wednesday opens his mouth and piles of heaping shit come out.
Let me ask you a question. What if you found out the reason that Collision is so successful is CM Punk? Well, how would you feel about that?
Dude, look it.
Like, because
I love CM Punk's one of those guys that I love to shit on, but I also like have immense respect for him. And I've said it several times. Like, I'm glad he's back in wrestling. I think he has more to give. Do I laugh at him when he sucks in the ring? Yes. Do I fucking make a mockery where he puts a fucking X on a title that isn't his? Yes. But CM Punk is so important to the history of wrestling, and him coming back is such a monumental fucking deal. He isn't the reason why it's Saturday. I think it's because it's one of those things.
No, but I'm saying he might be the voice of reason on why it needs to be.
Well, it's all so the reason why I really like Saturday is because it just so happens that a lot of the JC guys were a lot of the guys that aren't in with the cool kids there on Wednesday who run the show, the fucking Shalit there. So they all ended up on Saturday because CM Punk's more chill. You know, FTR, Hobbs, Stark, Andrade. We're talking about fucking some super talented guys that, I mean, some of them had talented opportunities on Wednesday. It's not fair, but it just like, it's a different vibe. It's like Saturday, like the adults run the show. Wednesday, the children run the show. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense.
I work with fucking children.
I mean,
that's all I can say about that. Well, it's true. All right. Well, that's fair. It's just bizarre to me that you feel this strongly, but that's fine.
No, it isn't. It's not bizarre at all.
Okay.
Not OMC.
OMC?
Yeah.
What's OMC?
How bizarre.
Oh, okay. The fact that you made a 90s reference is a bizarre thing for me.
90s. I'm a fucking 90s kid, bro.
Were you born in the 90s though?
I was born in the 80s, 89, halfway through the year. So,
Okay, that's
barely.
you dipped your
I'm
toe in the
technically
80s.
an 80s baby, barely.
Barely.
Yeah, a 90s kid. Come on.
All right. Something else that that happened on this show, which again, it's fine, but Rhea Ripley beats Candice LeRae in a jobber alert is what it is. Not a huge fan of it.
So I'll say this because, and it got me thinking when you were bringing up the EO thing, is that we've complained about Rhea's reign, how it's been boring. And I made a point, I think it was like a month ago. It was kind of like a throwaway point, but it was something that like I just kind of been, it's like the reason why I feel like Rhea hasn't had competition is because we literally see every week she just takes out her competition like backstage and beats them up. So she's like, that's literally this whole Raquel and Liv storyline. She just keeps injuring them and they can't fight her. And we've seen her. She took out Candice and Indy. That's why they're getting matches. She took out Natalia before she fought them. And it got me thinking. And when you brought up the EO thing, it really run true. The majority of the ways that WWE books women is to book them like Io Sky, where it's like, oh yeah, they win, but they're weak. They did the same thing with Liv. They do it with all of them. But there's like 3 women that they've ever booked differently, really, and that have been dominant. Rhea Ripley's one of them. Charlotte's another one, but we have seen Charlotte show some chinks in the armor and stuff like that. And then Bianca was pretty dominant for most of hers, but the Rhea one is like, she's been a super dominant heel. Because with Charlotte, it's always like, we know she's a heel, but half the time she's like a fake baby face where they try to make her one. She's just a heel naturally. But Rhea's like the first woman I can think of in a long time that they've really invested in as a dominant, unbeatable heel, which we normally just don't see in the women's division or as a women's champion. Like you could say Nia Jax, but she took L's all the time, man. And like Rousey was a baby face, quote unquote, half the time. And Shayna really hasn't been able to do it on the main roster. So it's just one of those things like, because I've been doing this too. We've all been complaining about Rhea and this and that, but then it's like, but they're booking her in a way they don't normally book women. So it's something to think about. But that's why, like I brought it up earlier, the Raquel thing I'm kind of excited for because I'm like, that's someone who is believable to me that can compete with Rhea and maybe beat her. Because look, I love Candice LeRae. I love Indy Hartwell. I love Liv Morgan. But you match them up against Rhea, we all know what's going to happen. Rhea smash, baby. Machka. She's the Machka, baby. So it's just, I just wanted to bring that up because when you were talking about EO, it kind of dawned in my head. So I kind of put a pin in it, but it was just like, it's interesting because I want to complain about it too, but I also got to think it's like, we're upset the way they're booking EO. This is the other end of the spectrum. Yes, you can meet in the middle. That's fair. But it's just an interesting point, I thought. It's just Rhea's been booked differently than any woman we've seen in a long time.
That's fair. I tend to agree with you on that. I just think that it's difficult because we've talked about Raw doesn't have a lot
barren wasteland of contenders.
Doesn't have a lot of depth on the roster in terms of shit that we can deal with. Moving on, we have a random Ciampa promo. They did a DIY thing, so he's jerking everybody off, and it's great. To me, it was weird that Cody Rhodes was trying to impersonate The Rock there for a second with his promo. Like, this isn't working for me. Let's go talk to the crowd. I was just like, oh my God. Like, the more I watch Cody Rhodes, the more I think to myself, do you think the crowd will turn on him when he eventually finally wins? Like,
he'll win the title. There'll be a point in his reign if they do a dominant reign with him where you get to like month 8, there'll be some new hot flavor of the month and it'll cross past them and the crowd will be like, ooh, we want that guy to have it. And that's when it'll start. But I think he's bulletproof until he wins, assuming that he doesn't lose to Roman like 5 WrestleManias in a row. I think he's pretty bulletproof. And I think the honeymoon phase will probably be long, but with any babyface Nestlemania, there's always the end. But once he had his moment and got it, like that's how wrestling works.
Yeah.
You love the guy, but once he gets it, it's like, okay, well, we got that. Who's next?
Yeah.
You know? That's just how it is.
It's bizarre to me because I feel like, and I know how you feel about this, but when I watched it on Monday, I thought this was the first sense where I felt like a little bit off, like authenticity was off. Like it felt very canned. It felt very forced. And they need to learn their lesson from what they did with Roman Reigns by force feeding everything, the Cena thing. They're not doing it yet with Cody. He's still getting general reactions. He's still got a genuine, feeling when he comes out with the woes and the kids and the signing autographs afterwards. But it felt like he's just until he gets to that point. How do you continue that upward trajectory? How do you keep that momentum going? That's hard for me to as a fan to continue. Like it's almost like you're stalling and you're pausing how you feel. And you're just like, oh, I'll pick it back up when he's fucking getting back into the title picture. You know what I mean?
Well, this week you got to throw out because this week wasn't about him. He was the third fiddle on Sammy and KO. Like this was a Sammy and KO show in their hometown. The show was about them. Like they kicked it off, and like you said, they felt special earlier. And it was just one of those things. Like Cody was just along for the ride as the third babyface, which it was pretty much since WrestleMania. Those two have been along for the ride with Cody. So they literally just like flipped spaces this week. So I wouldn't even buy into it that much, but it's still like he's gonna be fine. It's one of those things like, yeah, I mean, this is why I said at WrestleMania, it's like they're just gonna fucking, if the rematch isn't happening until next year's WrestleMania, there's gonna be a lot of time where it's just like, what are we doing? But luckily we had 6 months of Brock Lesnar or whatever it was, and that held us over pretty nicely. But yeah, no, we're starting to get that point now. If he isn't dealing with Seth, like there's gonna be some of this stuff. And again, he's gonna be fine because I think the difference between him and like the typical flavors is I think he's more in the Daniel Bryan, John Cena territory, where just like perpetually, I think people just like him in general. And he's so fucking good like those two that he'll just continue to do little things and he'll get reactions. And if it does start to turn, he'll make the most of it. But I just see especially until he raises that title, he is absolutely bulletproof. And I think he'll have a long honeymoon phase.
You know what bothered me was that it really feels like they are going to not be as creative as humanly possible from now till Survivor Series just to stall to have War Games be at Survivor Series so that Judgment Day can go up against KO, Sammy, Cody, and then maybe it's Damian Priest because you can have on the other side, you can have somebody else. But like, it just feels like we're going to be stuck in this endless loop of Judgment Day and those guys till War Games.
Well, I will say this, and it's something that I kind of brought up around SummerSlam and people didn't want to hear it, but look at the payback card. It's a lot of matches of things that didn't make SummerSlam or were like cleft off or things that have moved on. Obviously, like Seth, Cody, those guys are going to be on every one, but like we're getting the Rhea match. We're getting the Trish Becky match. We're probably going to get Gunther Gable and stuff like that. So these things that's one difference I like between the Triple H. If this was the Vince era, payback would probably be a requeue of SummerSlam. But with Triple H, it's like, oh, this was my plan all along. These things weren't going to be on SummerSlam because he said it in his presser perfectly. He said, you have all these stories and we have all these different shows. You need things to all get hot at different times. So I think it's one of those things like, yes, like we just had the pinnacle moment of SummerSlam. We obviously talked about how it let us down, but in terms of like your top tier guys, like a lot of their feuds, like they were hot there, but you're getting these middle pay-per-views. I think what can really make it a good pay-per-view is these more mid-tier feuds are the ones like LA Knight and Miz. We're assuming that gets on Payback. These are all things that enhance it. So by the time we get to Survivor Series, it hopefully won't feel like that because we've had other things that, even though Cody and Judgment Day and KO and Sammy feels like we're just kind of doing this, you have the LA Knight and the Rhea Ripley's like rising and trying to balance out the pendulum until it swings the other way.
The other thing that makes me feel like we're at another point where KO and Sammy are not going to be off another pay-per-view at this point. It does. I hope I'm wrong.
They're going to fight Judgment Day in some way, shape, or form, I think.
I was kind of hoping for McRiddle, to be honest, but that's beside the point.
I mean, hey, we spoke that into existence. We thought it was so good that the New Day had to bring it up. So there it is.
The fact that they brought it up the New Day, I just started giggling.
They have to call them McRiddle now. They don't have a choice. Now they put it on TV and it's got the reaction it did, like, ba-da-ba-ba-ba, we're loving it. Keep it, baby.
Yeah, it's bizarre to me. It really is.
McDonald's should have called them yesterday and set up a fucking sponsored match.
The fact that Endeavor hasn't already had this in motion is bothering me.
I mean, they might be. Maybe that's why the Viking Raiders cost them. We're going to get a McRiddle versus Viking Raiders fucking happy fight or something.
Just imagine for a second how big the McRib was. If they can find a way to make like a griddle sandwich, but McDonald's like, and
have you had a McGriddle? The breakfast sandwiches are amazing.
No, but I'm saying
pretty much a breakfast sandwich in between two pancakes.
But what I'm saying is like take a griddle sandwich, right? But like change it for McGriddle in some way with like
put some weed in it,
something, man. Like hemp. I don't care, but like they're like a hemp burger. I don't care. An Impossible hemp burger. But
Scottish hemp burger.
I'm telling you right now, put a little flavor on it. I'm telling you, it'll fucking work. And McIntyre is such a goofball clown that he would make a McDonald's commercial. Like it would work. It would fucking work. And I'm just waiting for Randy Orton to come back anyway. Because it screams to me that Randy Orton is coming back at some point because he's gonna be like, dude, I thought we were pals. You know what I mean? It feels that way. But again, when I saw him, that's the only thing I liked. I could do without the match, whatever. It's fine. But the McGriddle thing made me laugh.
Should we get to the hope? That was kind of a pretty good hope to come up with that type of match. I know you love the haha matches, so should we go to what are actual hopes?
Yeah, go ahead. Do you want me to go or you got it?
Yeah, you go first.
Glorious!
You don't have hope. I had one, but I literally forgot it because we started talking about McRiddle, and now I'm hungry.
Yeah, of course. Can I order a McRiddle with fries? No. So here's my thing very quickly. I thought about this as we were having a conversation about different things. So Rhea Ripley is the women's world champion on Raw. She does not have a lot of people that she can actually do things. You know, she's just not. What can he just say? I actually hope you can talk about All In more. There it is. He's just trolling.
Maybe my hope will have to do with All In.
So Kenny, I should make this a t-shirt. I have the logo. It's instead of Nestle's Toll House, it says Nestle's Troll House. I should just make you the little troll under the bridge. That's what I should do. But that's beside the point. So anyway, Rhea Ripley is a dominant champion, as JC has eloquently put. And I thought to myself, it seems like we need to get some more challengers. To me, this is what I would love to see. Is really, I want to see, in the grand scheme of things, Shayna Baszler beat Rhea Ripley. But you can't just have Shayna Baszler have a package like that on Monday and then throw her into the thing. So what I think we need to do here, after we get the fucking drizzling shits out of this cage match with fucking Becky and Trish Stratus, ship her back up to fucking Saskatchewan, wherever the fuck she's from, Toronto, whatever. Let her go do yoga and whatever else she's going to do. And then have the man go against Shayna Baszler. We make Shayna Baszler a big fucking deal, because that's going to be a feud. Because if Shayna Baszler can be half as entertaining as she is on Up, Up, Down, Down and be a little bit more outspoken, I think that'll work. Then you get the man in on it. If she can fucking prove to me that she's not some fucking just resting on her laurels, being a fucking someone said this and I forget exactly what it was. We fell in love with Becky Lynch's Austin and now she turned into The Rock. And I was just like, that's the most eloquent way to put it. You like her Austin, you hate her Rock impersonation. So for me, Becky Lynch, Shayna Baszler, get Shayna over to as best as you possibly can. Put that rocket on Shayna Baszler, because we need to have Shayna Baszler get that championship to be a big fucking deal. And of course, JC picked up another victory in his betting, so we didn't even fucking listen.
I heard you. You want Shayna Baszler to be champion. That's fucking terrible. No.
Why is that terrible? No, she's got to do something.
Yeah, she was a tag team champion and her partner quit. So they did a feud and it was shit. So yeah, no,
it's a hope for a reason. I'm trying to
like I said,
this program.
Yeah, you tried to have a hope, and I said I didn't like your hope. I thought your hope sucked.
Listen, it's not the McRiddle, but it'll do. All right.
Yeah,
you're being kind of a bitch right now. Okay,
yeah, you suck.
All right, your hope.
Yeah, my hope. We're going to All In because Kenny asked for it. I have two. How about we do some quick hopes here? Quick hope number one. I hope Will Ospreay squashes Chris Jericho in less than 30 seconds, because I don't want to see that pathetic excuse of an old man try to hang with my fucking king, because Ospreay deserves better. It's absolute bullshit that he has to fight fucking Y2 idiot. So there's mini hope number one.
Can I interject? Can I interject real quick?
Yes.
Did you hear that he's going to play Fozzy to the ring?
Yeah, that's the best part. So then you can still lose in 30 seconds. It's perfect.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, no, that's great. Entrance is great. Entrance Jericho, but fucking wasting a Will Ospreay match on the biggest show in the world of history of wrestling. Fucking shit, Tony. Get your shit together. And I saw Kenny say in the comments the card is shit. He's right. This card is shit. But hope number two, FTR wins the best of three against the Young Bucks. WWE always pushed the Usos when they had an issue. So Tony Khan should do the same thing. I mean, you know what? So yeah, FTR wins that because I like them. Hope number three, you guys are going to love this one. So CM Punk, he takes care of Samoa Joe. And you know, we're like, oh, who could come out next? And you're probably thinking, oh my God, he's going to do Edge. I ain't going to do Edge. I'm thinking bigger than Edge. Much bigger than Edge. CM Punk is interrupted by Dana. Da-na-na-na. Da-na-na. No, it's Goldberg. I want fucking Goldberg to come out of the show because I want to see the fucking loop-de-loop pretzels that all these internet dorks have to do to sell me on why it's the greatest thing ever. And a Goldberg CM Punk match, oh my God, that would be bad. It would be so horribly glorious. And it would be even more glorious if Goldberg won that fucking real world championship. So hope number three, hashtag JC knows, hashtag JC's hopes come true. None of those were trolls at all. They're all very serious hopes. And look at that, Nestlemania. You said I didn't have one. I didn't have just one. I didn't have just two. But I had three hopes, baby.
So our boy Dommy Fed says the All-In card is greater than SummerSlam 92. So look, I don't count that because it is probably true. But I do agree with my brother Kenneth that this is a shit fucking card for the most
It's a
part.
2-match card. Everything else is absolute poop.
So here's my thing, and I've talked about this before. Too many multi-person matches. We're trying to get everybody in the card, and I understand. Everybody wants to fucking participate. Everybody wants to be part of the biggest fucking thing, whatever. You know what? You make fun of the WWE for it. Why not do 2 nights? You know what I mean? Like, let's see
they
how
pretty
good...
much are. They're doing one this week and one the week after.
Right,
Darby,
but
Darby Allin's on both. Actually, I was going to say because
Darby Allin's a big fucking deal, right? So I mean, that is what it is.
I thought Sting versus Swerve was a singles match, but they swerved me. That's a tag match. Fucking AR Fox.
It's a coffin.
That should tell you all you need to know about this pay-per-view.
It's a coffin match. So
yeah, I just they pulled that card way too much that it doesn't feel special.
Here's the issue with me is like this is right out of JC's playbook. You're fucking putting Kenny Omega in a fucking 6-man.
Yeah,
are you out of your mind?
What have I been saying literally since the Wrestle Kingdom match start this year? Why is Kenny Omega in anything but singles matches? He's so fucking good. Like, just do Omega Ospreay 3 and we all would have been happy.
And watching the crowd cheer for Ospreay would have been fucking mental. But the fact that we're doing the fucking the 6-man tag is just dog
It's not even isn't it like a 10-man? Oh no, he's in
no, that's the other thing that's hard
I forgot oh my god.
It's like elite adjacent. It's just trickling down. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
We'll get there when we do predictions.
The problem is that All Out will have Takeshita versus Omega. That's what the problem is.
I don't care about that. I care about Miro and Hobbs. They already sold that one. I might buy the pay-per-view just for that and turn it off after. I hope it's the first match
for a match for one match.
I mean, Miro Hobbs, yeah, fuck yeah. It's a lot of man you're paying that money for, Nestlemania. You don't get that much meat for $50 most places. Don't call it a comeback. They've been here for a year. I've been singing theme songs. So dun 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 dun. Street Profits are back in the ring. They were wrestling, which was nice to see. They're rolling on this new gimmick. They squashed the OC, those fucking has-beens. I saw them get an entrance. I was like, oh man. They're about to get jobber alerted because when they give a team like the OC nowadays an entrance on SmackDown, that means you're out. This is a Street Profits showcase. It's good to have them back. Them as a this pseudo heel thing with Bobby Lashley is a nice twist. You've been asking for it forever. You've also been asking for them to split up forever. Ain't gonna happen anytime soon, baby. And I'm okay with that because they're one of the best damn tag teams on the planet. We have so much tag team talent right now that just hasn't been being used. They're one of the biggest ones, so I'm glad they're back. Glad they got the big dub. And I look forward to see what they're doing. Street Profits, you get my comeback.
Very quickly, I wanted to say that I was very impressed with their new finish with the sky-high neck breaker.
Yes.
That was pretty cool. Because, we all love watching Tez go up and do the frog splash, and it always feels like Angelo Dawkins is kind of there. You know what I mean? And, just kind of here's my tag partner. But now it's hey, a tag finish, right? Like an actual tag finish. I thought fantastic. What are you laughing at?
She was just going like this the whole time.
Here's my tag partner.
You can just see him in the background of all the shots. He's just
yeah. That's all he was. He was he's a fucking magician's assistant. There he is. You know what I mean? Watch the guy jump. But now it's hey, a fucking tag finish. What do you know? It fucking works. So I'm all in on that. My comeback this week goes to fucking Akira Tozawa. Because every time that motherfucker's on my TV, it doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes, doesn't matter if it's 10 minutes, that guy maximizes his minutes, folks. And honestly, he did a great job with the Yaz. He fucking upset the Miz. The Miz made it look fucking perfect. Everything about it was chef kisses and little salt bays everywhere. I loved it. Any meme you want. And then I like to think about was he can go off into obscurity again and come back in 6 months and I'll still fucking love him. That guy knows exactly how to play his role. He was fantastic during the cruiserweight stuff, but man, he continues to just get dusted off, and then there he is. It works.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I thought it was great. I mean,
does Nestlemania's eyebrows always get this high when he talks?
Oh, you should. Yeah, I mean, his emotions they get higher the more emotional he gets.
Are you calling me some type of cartoon, Kenneth?
Your eyebrows just went way up right as you did that. Yeah,
I have what I like to call Eugene Levy eyebrows. So you have no idea who Eugene Levy is. That's okay.
He's fucking the dad in American Pie.
Wow, I'm very impressed with you.
Of course, I know who Eugene Levy is. I also love Schitt's Creek. Come on, bro.
I'm just saying. I have to cut my own eyebrows. So that's a thing.
Would you like to expand upon that?
No, I used to have the woman that cut my hair actually cut my eyebrows, but now
So
I have
you
to
cut
do
them
them.
with use little like tweezers.
No. I'm way more ghetto. What I do is I take a comb, right, and I take it like this, and then I just. That's the way she did it. So now I have to do it on my own. It's a whole thing. Do you want me to take a video of it and send it to you? I'll do it.
I don't at all.
No.
But
Okay. Well, all right.
well, I'm sure you finish after that because you think you look fly. So we're going to SmackDown in the big finish. Jimmy Uso returns this week, and Grayson Waller takes on Booyaka 619 Rey Mysterio.
I don't care.
Okay, I care about Grayson Waller. Rey Mysterio.
I don't. Here's the thing: Rey Mysterio's beating him. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So it's fine.
Unless if Santos costs him, doubtful. We head over to Raw. We have Gable versus Ludwig. I gushed about that earlier. And then we have a false count anywhere. We call it the Guthrie special. Becky Lynch and Zoe Stark.
You buried the lead. Did you notice that Ludwig got his own T-shirt?
Yeah, he's fucking the man.
You're gonna get it.
I mean, I rarely buy the T-shirts anymore, but like if I did, him and Anna Jay would be the top two. I still got to get the fucking a fat ass and a bad attitude.
And her voice with that is just, it's too much. It's too funny. Too fucking much. I don't care. Like we said, we know Zoe and Becky will probably be better than, no, it's not going to be probably. It will be better than
It
Becky
will be
and Trish.
1,000,000% better. It'll probably be really good. We're probably putting the shine. Well, it involves Zoe Stark and,
We're allergic to Zoe Stark and the shine, apparently.
Guthrie's going to probably find a way to ruin that too. She'll have like one spot and she'll fuck it up.
I cannot wait for Trish to be like hidden as a mascot or something stupid and then be like, I'm gonna beat you up because I'm Trish Stratus. I don't care what none of y'all say. That's the beginning of her song. Drives me nuts. Anyway, that's
the lady to mess with. But we got to go rapid fire through Dynamite and Rampage and Collision this week because we got to get to our all-in predictions. But on Dynamite, I mean, we got some fun stuff. You have a Darby and Sting tag match against Swerve on Fox on the pay-per-view. Well, on Wednesday, we're doing Darby and Nick Wayne versus Swerve and Fox. Hey, waste of time. We have John Moxley versus Ray Phoenix. I'm sure it'll be a good match. I love Phoenix.
I don't know why we're doing this, but
me either.
It'll be great.
The best part of the show will probably be Jack Perry retiring the FTW belt. I mean, look at Jungle Boy, fucking terrible. But for some reason, this heel thing, I have to watch every week. It's like one of the few things on Dynamite I look forward to. So I'm curious to see how this plays out. I'm assuming it'll lead to Hook coming back and I'm fighting at probably All Out. I don't know though. But then we have Bullet Club Gold taking on the Elite because why not? We have, this was the stupidest thing. So they sold last week how Aussie Open, this was their last step to being able to defend the fucking titles against MJF and Cole, and they've been advertising the match. But, oh, wait, we have one more. The Hardys and their fucking geriatric gout and fucking bullshit have a match with Aussie Open before. So we have that. We have Jericho and Ospreay signing a contract. Woohoo. And Ruby Soho versus Sky Blue for like the 30th time.
It's a tough watch. I'll be honest with it. It's a tough watch. So...
yeah, I don't know. That's all I got too.
I will say this much. I will say this much. It's bizarre to me that I actually enjoy watching the backstage promos on Dynamite, but not the matches.
Oh, 100%.
I'll fast forward the matches sometimes, but I will not fast forward the promo.
No. You get fucking 8-man tags every other match. So what do you expect? Collision, speaking of 8-man tags, has an 8-man all-star tag. I don't know what that means. It's the fucking literally 12 hours before they go live at Wembley. So
well, they're already pre-taped.
Yeah, it's either pre-taped or people that aren't going. So that's going to be something's going to that show's going to be like a repackaged show. So this will probably be the worst Collision ever, but whatever. But Nestlemania, are you all into doing some all-in predictions?
Dude, I am all in. I've got 9 matches lined up here from our boy TJ. I say it's time to get all in on this shit.
Tag team match for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships on 0 Hour. Aussie Open defends against MJF and Adam Cole, baby. Nestlemania, it feels like MJF and Adam Cole have to do this because Adam Cole made sure to bring up the one title he did not win in Ring of Honor was the tag team titles. And I mean, obviously we're going to talk about the main event in a bit, but I just feel like they're going to milk this as long as they can, even if it's for a few more hours. So give me MJF and Adam Cole, baby.
Wow. Okay. Right out of the gate. This is hard for me because the creative person in me feels like I could go either way, but I look at it like this. Why would they put it on the pre-show, right? Are they putting it
as far away from the main event as possible?
Are they putting it on the pre-show?
It's also called a buy-in, not a pre-show. Remember?
I'm sorry, the buy-in. Why are they putting it on the buy-in? Like if they lose, what was the point? right? Is someone
It
turn
sets
on
up
someone?
this function for the main event.
Right.
But it's
But if they
also
win,
the reason. No, I was just gonna say the reason why I corrected you is it's called a buy-in because they want you to buy into the pay-per-view. So whatever happens in this match, the point of it is to make you click buy.
I'm gonna say Aussie Open wins because then it's a true main event in which it's not gonna be fucking buddy. So I'm gonna say Aussie Open. That's what I think.
Yeah,
Because I
you're
think
boring and you're wrong.
no, I probably am wrong, but I feel like it'll be a cliffhanger for you to buy the pay-per-view. Because them winning isn't a cliffhanger, in my opinion.
Sure about that?
I don't think so.
I don't know about that, Nestlemania.
Okay, well, I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm already up by 3, so I think I'm okay.
By 3, yeah. You know what I can do? Hit a 3-pointer, bitch, because we're going to the main card, multi-man matches. Woo! We have a singles match, though. Nope, we're not. We're gonna go to a. Oh God, there's so many fucking random matches. We're gonna start with a tag team match play out where people go in a coffin. Darby Allin and Sting versus the Mogul Embassy. Here's the thing, Nestlemania. Sting doesn't lose, so give me the Dane Sting.
The Ding Sting?
Darby Allin and Sting, baby.
Well, apparently, if you ask Cocaine Tongue, Tony, whatever his name is, he's
in the best run of his career.
In the best run of his career, and then like you saw the video of him crashing and burning constantly. So all I could think about was clearly Sting don't lose, Sting must pose, but also it's fucking Wembley. They're definitely not going to let him fucking take an L, especially in a coffin match. They're not going to take into fucking L. So yeah, Darby Sting.
Next up, we have a 6-man tag team match player with the Golden Elite. There's a lot of gold going on here, but with all this stuff. Kota Ibushi, Kenny Omega, and Adam Hangman Page take on Takeshita and Bullet Club Gold. More gold. There's so much fucking gold. Juice Robinson and Jay White. This is a weird match, but I feel like it's a babyface fest. But if I were booking it, I'd have the heels win because I think the heels need it more. But I'll take the Golden Elite because Tony's a mark.
Golden Elite will be my pick, and I literally just thought of this when I was like, you just said it. It's like Bullet Club Gold, Golden Elite. There is too much gold going on here. I like the Bang Bang Gang.
There's a lot of titles too. I like Bang Bang Gang too.
Bang Bang Gang is way better. And having Mick Foley would come up with the Bang Bang Gang would be hysterical.
No. If Mick Foley comes out with the fucking guns, Jay White and Juice Robinson, those 4 become the uncoolest people on fucking television. Because Mick Foley has not been cool since fucking 30 years ago.
He's never been cool.
Yeah, and so just no, that was terrible. You as a Mick Foley hater, I'm surprised you even said that. Get out of here.
I just bang Cactus Jack. I love Cactus Jack, so it's whatever.
Cactus Jack.
Moving.
Next up, Stadium Stampede match because everyone wanted another one of these, and this is a fucking trip. Phoenix apparently, you told me before, doesn't have visa issues, so he's currently TBA, but his teammate Penta El Zero Miedo will team with the best friends, your boys, Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta, Orange Cassidy and Eddie Kingston. That's a lot of people taking on the Blackpool Combat Club, Moxley, Castagnoli, and Yuta. No Bryan Danielson, but there are 3 TBA people. So maybe one of those 3 TBA people is Bryan Danielson. But long story short, Nestlemania, we don't know a third of the people in this match. This is going to be a fucking obnoxious fucking spot fest. I mean, here's my prediction. You ready? Baby faces, I don't think Pac is cleared, so they'll probably get some London person that I'm not thinking of. The bad guys are going to get Bryan Danielson in surprise return, and they'll get Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia because this is fucking ridiculous. I don't even know who to pick. God, you go first.
I'm going to pick because I think the other side of the baby faces can take an L, and that fucking Tony Khan is sniffing fucking something right off of John Moxley's cock. The BBC will win.
It's not blood for once either, but yeah, no, the BCC makes sense. We might sound like idiots when they announce on Wednesday, but whatever. We'll take the big black cocks on that one. Next up, we have a singles match between Will Ospreay and Chris Jericho, and be short and sweet. If Will Ospreay doesn't win, I am going to punch Chris Jericho in the face. So give me Will Ospreay.
I think Will Ospreay will win because something related to, of course, the big human thumb Don Callis will cost him in some way, and I thought that segment last week wasn't that bad. So I'm curious to see where this goes, but it's tough. It's tough because to me, Don Callis doesn't matter in general. Like they're trying to present him as a Bobby Heenan, and I just don't believe it. He's not even a discount Paul Heyman. The dude's not even a discount Slick or Jimmy Hart. He's just, to me, he is somebody that I could do without in general on my television. He doesn't bring anything to the table to me.
He's irrelevant without Kenny Omega. He is Phil Jackson without Michael Jordan. Beyond irrelevant, just getting by in his name. He's a nobody. I agree. Without Kenny Omega, he's nothing, and Kenny Omega's better with him. So, yeah, I don't know what their plan is here, but I don't like it. I mean, I don't like it. Next up, singles match for the real world champion. That's a championship. That's literally what they're calling it. It's a rematch. It's a snore fest. CM Punk and Samoa Joe. Give me CM Punk.
CM Punk has to win because we're not done with the stupid real world champion shit until MJF and CM Punk face each other to fucking have some combined nonsense later on down the line.
Tell him when he's telling lies. Next up, we're just going to move on because I just don't care. It's the fatal four-way match for the AEW Women's World Championship. The new champion, Hikaru Shida, defends against Toni Storm, the former champion, Saraya, who's never held it, and Britt Baker, DMD, who's looking for another run. But Nestlemania, I hoped for it last week, and I'm going to pick with my heart. Just give fucking Saraya her moment.
So I think that's the logistic, like that makes the most sense to me, like logical wise. But I feel like Shida just got it, so I'm gonna stick with Shida only because I just think that she literally just got it. And if you hot potato the women's championship after having, like, I'm sorry, but the most recent way they've been booking the women has just been complete utter dog shit.
Yeah.
And this to me, as you know how much I love Paige, you know how much I love Saraya. But giving her the championship after not having any fucking matches up until last week to me is a fucking crock. It's the most AW. It's a fucking crock of shit to do because at least we know Shida can go. At least Britt Baker shows up every week. Toni did what she could, but to me, she can dress like a 1950s housewife with the Marge Simpson hair. I don't give a fuck what Toni does. I'm sorry. And Britt Baker, although Kenny thinks she's nice looking, she's a shitty fucking wrestler. Please don't give it to her. And if it's Saraya, whatever. But you're basically telling anybody in that women's locker room that you don't have to show up and you don't have to fucking care as long as you have name value. Keep Shida, keep her fucking going. She's the only thing that I even want to watch when it comes to the women's division because she's the only actual wrestler in that fucking division right now. Let's go, Shida.
There's more money in her chasing Saraya. Checkmate. Look it. We talk about how this pay-per-view shit. This is something that is selling it. It's that Saraya gets to wrestle in front of her people, and they're going to give her moment. So hashtag JC knows. Hashtag Nestle doesn't know. Next up, we have a tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. It is the rubber match between FTR, the champions, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, taking on the Young Bucks of Matt and Nick Jackson. I hope for it earlier. I'm going to pick it too because why the fuck not? Give me FTR, baby. They got more to do as the tag champs. The Young Bucks just got back in the tag division. This will probably be a fucking banger. It'll probably be a classic. I'm looking forward to it, but give me FTR.
So we haven't talked about this. This is actual news, of course, of the Cash issue with his gun and the whole thing, the aggravated assault. Obviously, he's still making it to Wembley. Do you think that has any type of weight in terms of they have to give the belts to the Bucks so that they can deal with this legal issue and then everything will be fine? No, okay.
Absolutely not. No, if he's fine. I don't think much is going to come of that. He'll probably have to pay a very hefty fine. Maybe have, it doesn't even sound
community
like
service.
Yeah, it doesn't even sound like he'll have any restriction. I mean, it's fucking Florida. I mean, who the fuck knows what their laws are down there? But no, I don't see any of that. And I mean, look if this was the WWE, like I said, Jimmy Uso, oh, you got a Dewey? Yeah, we're gonna give you the titles the next week. So it's one of those things. I don't think they're gonna change plans because this felt like FTR was winning this for a while. Because it just feels like they're on a run right now, and they're gonna milk that run for a little bit. And the Bucks just got back in the tag division, and I don't think Tony knows what the fuck he's doing with the Elite at the moment. So.
I'm also going with the FTR, but I will be watching this very, very closely, obviously, because it has, it's going to have great match no matter what. But
this match of the night,
right now on this card, unless Ospreay,
well, I mean, look, after the pay-per-view is over, you're going to look and be like, that was the best match on the card, probably, right?
Yes.
This is the main event.
Yes, I would say the only dark horse outside shot is if somehow, some way, Will Ospreay drags a big bag of milk known as Chris Jericho through a match.
I mean, Orange Cassidy's done it before, but I don't know.
I feel like Ospreay will find a way to make it better. And clearly you're not.
I mean, Ospreay's the fucking GOAT. We've been over this. He's my king. I worship him. I can't wait for him to the Rumble in 5 years. Next up, we have the main event. It is a singles match for the AEW World Championship. MJF, who is better than you, and you know it, Adam. He's also better than Adam Cole, baby, and he might know it too. The Friends, likely going to be tag team champions of Ring of Honor at this point. Nestlemania, it all comes down to this. We're gonna have some shenanigans, I think, in this. I think we're gonna get the turn during this match. I think MJF is gonna be an asshole and fucking take it off and get booed out of Wembley.
I think so you picked MJF?
Fuck yeah.
Okay. I also will
He has
take
to hold that thing till he's a free agent.
Yes.
If
And
not,
I think
what's
that's
the point.
right. So I think for me is I'm also picking MJF, but here's what I would do if I was booking this, because I don't know if they're going to do this or not. And this is where you're going to start laughing and being like, that's fucking stupid, but it's Tony Khan, right? I feel like what's going to end up happening here is we're going to get a schmoz fest in this matchup. And then we're going to get somehow, some way, Roderick Strong is going to interject himself, try to hit MJF, miss, and hit Adam Cole. And then MJF wins. That's what we're going to do. That's what's going to happen.
Slight upgrade to that. I would just have Roderick Strong outright just help MJF.
Maybe
go full heel because he look it. I've gotten frustrated watching this the last few weeks because we're Roddy haters on this program. Great wrestler, but he's as generic as they fucking create a wrestler they come. But I'm watching him fucking throw temper tantrums and look like a fucking pussy with his little neck brace on. And I'm like, bro, you were starting to fucking find it in Diamond Mind. Like you were great. And you left for this. Idiot. I love it. Fuck him. But I don't.
It just feels like it's such a red herring sometimes. But I feel like
this feels like it isn't over, right? Like it feels like this is just like, as Roman Reigns would say, like this. We had the first
bottom
match,
of the
whatever.
third.
No, we're in we're probably in the 4th or 5th inning. Like we're at like the climax. Like the starter's finishing up, and we're getting to the bullpen now. So things are about to start getting real interesting. And this feels like the big hump, the middle part of the feud here. So
come on and do the hump to hump. All right, is that so? You have zero expectations for this pay-per-view, yeah?
I mean, I have high expectations for those top 2 matches. And it's it's AEW. I don't hold them to the standards of WWE because I think in the last year, the quality of AEW pay-per-views has diminished from like when the first 2 years of its existence, everything was fucking really good. Like it just, they put on great shows. And I think it's gone down. We've talked about the myriad of reasons where it's just like a lot of pretty much since like Forbidden Door the last year through now, it's a lot of discombobulation, forcing people on the card, fucking useless fucking matches I don't care about. But I don't know. I have a feeling they'll probably over deliver on Sunday. And I mean, the crowd's going to play a part in that. That's the one thing I think we always underestimate going to these big shows. I mean, we just talked about on Monday, a hot crowd will make everything better. So I think we're going to look back pretty fondly on some of these. And we'll talk about how actually that 6-man tag was really good. And Stadium and Stampede had these awesome moments. So I think it's going to over deliver.
I wish our resident AEW honk Kenny would tell us what he thinks, but by the time he texts in there, we're going to be out of this program.
You mentioned Britt Baker, so he might be indisposed.
He might be calling a doctor if it lasts longer than 4 hours. So on that note, I don't know if there's anything else that you can DMD about, but anyway, we hope you enjoy All In. If you're watching, if you're there, fantastic. Let us know how it was. On that note, we are all out of time, and we thank you for listening to Jobber Knocker. We'll be back next week with more Jobber Knockery.
And some payback, bitch.